You are listening to How to Get Over Your Ex, episode number 316, the breakup problem no one knows they're having. Welcome to How to Get Over Your Ex, a podcast on getting over your ex without it just taking time. I'm your host, breakup coach Dorothy. Let's turn your pain into power and your heartbreak into happy. Hello, brave hearts. 'Tis the season of giving, and I can feel it happening again, right? The countdown to the holidays, the family gatherings, the questions, the empty seat at the table where they used to be, and you're already bracing yourself, already rehearsing those answers, already planning how you're going to get through it. I'm fine, really, I'm great. But you do not have to white knuckle your way through your holiday season. You don't have to smile through Thanksgiving dinner while fighting back tears. You don't have to post photos pretending you're having the time of your life when you're actually barely holding it together. And you don't have to wake up on January 1st realizing that you spent another entire holiday season thinking about your ex. And I know you've been praying for a miracle. And my brave hearts, today, right now, am here to deliver. When you join the Get Over Your Ex program in the next 48 hours, so today and tomorrow, you get instant access to my course, Healing Heartbreak Over the Holidays. This is the course that I created specifically for this season, the season that makes heartbreak feel 10 times harder because everyone around you is coupled up, everyone's posting their perfect family photos, everyone's talking about their plans, their traditions, their person, and you're sitting there thinking like, this was supposed to be me. So inside of Healing Heartbreak Over the Holidays, you're going to learn how to handle the "so are you seeing anyone?" question without your chest tightening. You're going to know what to do when memories ambush you in the middle of dinner. You're going to learn how to actually enjoy this season instead of just surviving it. The exact framework to process grief while everyone around you is celebrating, how to set boundaries with family without feeling guilty, and what to say when someone brings up your ex and how to say it with zero emotional charge. You can walk into every gathering, every party, every family dinner this holiday season and actually mean it when you say, "I'm great," when you do this, okay? So here's everything you're going to get when you join before midnight on Tuesday, so this week, right? The complete Get Over Your Ex programming, all of it, my eyes on your heartbreak. The Heart Healing Accelerator, a private one-on-one call with me. A printed Get Over Your Ex workbook delivered to your door. The Healing Heartbreak Over the Holidays course. And to make this an undeniable yes for you, I've actually even reduced the price. I'm giving you $500 off of the Get Over Your Ex program and all of these lovely bonuses. Because listen, I know you're tired. I know you've been trying. I know you've been doing your best. But I promise you, doing this alone, especially during the holidays, while everyone around you is celebrating, that is hard mode. And you do not have to do hard mode anymore. Let me help you. Let me walk you through this season. Let me show you how to get through these next few weeks without losing yourself in the process. And this offer disappears at midnight. The $500 off, right? Gone. The one-on-one call with me, gone. The holiday course, gone. Midnight on Tuesday. And you'll be back to figuring this out on your own, or you join me and you get everything. And you walk into the holidays with a plan, a coach, and a community of women who get it. And you don't have to spend another holiday season stuck on your ex. All right, you can join us at dorothyabjohnson.com/get over your ex. The bonuses code is grateful. All right, this is your moment, my friends. Take it. I love you, and I will see you soon. Hello, beautiful brave hearts. How is everyone doing? I am so excited to be here with you today. Before we dive in on today's episode, I want to just give you a friendly reminder that December 8th through the 11th, I'm hosting something called the Breakup Clinic, which is so fun. Like, hello, I'm Dorothy, your heartbreak doctor. Welcome to the Breakup Clinic. This is where I'm going to cover the stages of heartbreak, which will give you clarity around what stage of heartbreak are you actually in, all the way from completely devastated to your epic comeback. There's multiple stages within that. And those stages matter because if you're trying to use a remedy that's for the first stage, it's not going to work. And if you're in the second stage and you're using the first stage remedy, it's not going to work, or, vice versa. So it's going to be super fun. Day one is going to be all about the stages. You're going to understand and have clarity about what stage you're in. Day two, you will get your specific prescription that outlines exactly what you need to do based off of what stage you're in. And day three is your very specific treatment plan to make your breakup as good as done. And day four, you have my eyes on your specific breakup situation through live coaching. So I'm very excited to do a live event. It's been a long time coming. So please come join us. You can register at dorothyabjohnson.com/breakup clinic. Yay! I am so excited to be here with you today. I want to talk about breakup problems. I attended a live coaching event with one of my coaches, Brooke Castillo, last week. It was so amazing and so fun. And she was speaking about high quality problems versus low quality problems. And I was learning so much and having so many mind-blowing moments for myself, but more importantly, for so many of my clients and all of you listening who are going through heartbreak right now. Now, the whole premise was that we always have problems in our life. So more often than not, we as human beings are trying to avoid our problems or do everything we possibly can to eliminate problems, which keeps our life rather small because we're trying to do everything in our power to make sure that we don't have any problems, which is so interesting because we were gifted beautiful brains, and a part of the brain's purpose, it's to solve problems. It's a problem-solving tool. So therefore, it's always looking and scanning for problems. And even if the brain scans and doesn't find any problems, which is very unlikely, but even if it did that, it will then create problems to be able to solve. That's why so many of my clients I notice who are in the Bigger and Better Life Mastermind are very literally living the lives that they crafted inside of Get Over Your Ex. Like their true bigger and better lives, they're living them. And they still find themselves from time to time making problems out of the things that they literally dreamed of and prayed for. It's crazy. I've done it too. So it's not just my clients. I've done this, but I just witnessed so many times we're living in the bigger and better life, and yet we still are creating problems out of the things that we once dreamt of. So no matter what, your brain will find problems or create them. And the types of problems matter. Okay. I want to talk to you about high quality breakup problems versus low quality breakup problems, why those matter, as well as the way that we approach those breakup problems and define them. So let's start with what is a low quality breakup problem. So the low quality breakup problems leave us feeling overwhelmed. They leave us sitting in inaction, feeling defeated. However, we feel very right about them and we feel very justified for these problems. And a lot of times, this is where we feel like truly we are the victim. He's done something terribly wrong, and we spend more time proving we are the victim, proving that something bad happens to us instead of being inspired by it. I'm currently writing my book outline for a proposal, and I thought of this quote that I came up with a long time ago, but you don't have to stay hurt to prove that you were hurt. What? You don't have to stay hurt to prove that you were hurt. So that's kind of how I see a low quality breakup problem. Now, a high quality breakup problem invites you to solve it. It's inviting you to find a new way of being, a new skill, a new creation, a solution that creates more problems that you actually desire to have in your life. So, for example, if you're constantly trying to solve the problem of not having enough money, that might be a low quality problem versus trying to solve for what do I do with all the money that I have? Where do I put the overflow of money I'm creating? When I have so much abundance, where do I put the money that goes beyond the bills, beyond the standard investments, and beyond the savings? Where do I put the money? Right? Or Brooke gave the example of her dating, and what does she do with all of the people who love her now and don't get to date her because she's getting married? What does she do with all the people who want to date her? I love that one. So what are the kinds of breakup problems you want to have? Isn't that such a weird question to contemplate? Going through my breakup journey, what are the problems that I actually want to have? I'm going to have problems. So what are the ones that I want to have? Because high quality breakup problems have a solution, and there's an essence of it's supposed to be here. Like, this is a problem I'm meant to solve in this lifetime, and it almost gives it meaning and purpose and like meat to it. So have I made my breakup problems high quality? Now, how you define these breakup problems matters. Okay, we want to define our breakup problems in a way that excites us, that revs us up rather than defeats us or makes us worried or scared. And what would it be like to have breakup problems that you were actually excited to find a solution for? Like where you wake up and you're like eager to get to work on this breakup problem. And that's how I actually felt about my housing situation in both of kind of my rock bottoms. If I wasn't going through the big breakup that I had almost 10 years ago, I wouldn't have been going through the problem of how do I find the exact apartment that I wanted. If I hadn't gone through my called off engagement multiple years ago, I wouldn't have gotten to find the exact home that I purchased. Those were fun problems to solve. Those were fun breakup problems to have where I'm like, ooh, I get to decide where I want to live and what kind of experience I want to have. The high quality, I guess the low quality definition of that specific problem would have been, how do I find a place to live without my best friend and partner? That's a low quality problem. The high quality definition of that problem, that breakup problem for me was, how do I manifest the exact perfect home for me in this phase of my life that lights me up and leaves me feeling like I arrived at home? Like jaw drop on the floor, delicious. Okay, so last thing that I want to talk about here is, how are you approaching your breakup problems? I think this was a very big aha moment for myself when Brooke was talking about this last week, where she mentioned this great example of Wordle. This is a New York Times game that most individuals know about, but this could be any game that you play and love. Maybe it's a puzzle. You enjoy puzzles. Those are problems that you look forward to solving, and you approach it with confidence, curiosity, interest, eagerness. And are you approaching your breakup problems that way? And if you're not, you have just not yet defined a high quality problem. And we want high quality problems because we also want high quality solutions in our life, my friends. So I wanted to share some low quality breakup problems versus high quality breakup problems. So here's some low quality breakup problems. Why isn't he texting me? Does he miss me? What if he moves on first? How do I get him to regret losing me? How do I survive being alone? What if I'm alone forever? Why didn't he love me enough? What did I do wrong? Notice how you feel when you're thinking about solving some of those problems. Notice how they get defined and how you approach them. What kind of solutions do you think we're going to get? So rather than asking the brain to solve these low quality problems, I would rather you learn how to define them into high quality problems. So here's some examples of high quality breakup problems. How do I regulate my nervous system so that I feel safe without him? How do I rebuild trust in myself and my own intuition? Who am I becoming through this heartbreak? How do I design my bigger and better life now that I'm untethered? What were the deeper emotional gaps that allowed this relationship to feel like home? How do I create a relationship blueprint that guarantees a better future? How do I build a life that feels safer than the relationship that I lost? How do I raise my standards so that my next partner meets me at my new level? like these bring a certain like jazz, don't they? Like a feeling of, ooh, I'd like the answer to that. And then these become fun to solve. These are also solving the problem, like rather than the symptom of a problem, which, if you've listened to any of my other episodes, that's my jam. There are too many breakup symptoms being cared for instead of just solving the primary root problem that would erase the symptoms. So this week, I want you to just take a moment and look at your breakup problems and go through these 4 steps. Number 1, is this a high quality or a low quality breakup problem? Number 2, how am I defining it? Is it something that gets me revved up and excited to solve, or is this something that feels overwhelming and defeating and leading me to avoid or sit in inaction of the problem? Number 3, how am I approaching the problem? With curiosity and compassion and confidence and interest, or perhaps anger, bitterness, annoyance, or even a little bit of entitlement, or maybe something completely else. And then number 4, I want you to redefine it so it makes approaching that breakup problem fun and zesty and exciting and revved up, something that you would wake up excited to solve. And bonus homework that I just think is super interesting is, what is the biggest problem that you want to have in your breakup? I'd love for you to share it with me on Instagram at Breakup Coach Dorothy, if you don't mind. I just feel like that's such a fun question to look at, is what is the biggest problem you want to have in your breakup? We got to end today's episode. I love you all. I hope you have an amazing week, and I will talk to you next time. If you're loving the How to Get Over Your Ex podcast and you want to learn how to get over your ex in 3 months or less to build a life better than the one you thought you had with your ex, I would like to personally invite you to my next group course, where we take everything you've learned here on the podcast and apply it to your life. Come check it out at www.lifecoachdorothy.com.